Hello students, today's our topic is methods of preparation of alkyl halides. Okay, alkyl halides is nothing but Rx. R is our alkyl group and X is our halide. So preparation of alkyl halide. First method is from alcohols. All of you know that what is alcohol? Alcohol is nothing but dash OH functional group. When attached to alkyl group, it becomes alcohol. It is our alcohol. Now we can prepare chlorides as well as bromides as well as iodides. Okay, and for that we have to treat this alcohol with hydrochloric acid, with hydrobromic acid, with hydroiodic acid. But for all these three reactions, important thing is that reagents are different. This is our anhydrous zinc chloride if it is present, and hydrochloric acid treated with alcohol, then we get RCl. If we want RBr, then reagent is sodium bromide in presence of H2SO4. While for Ri, to react with alcohol HI, then we need sodium iodide or potassium iodide, and important thing is that it presence of 95% H3PO4. H3PO4, that is our phosphoric acid. Remember this thing, this is our phosphoric acid H3PO4. Okay, now see, when we will see one by one. This alcohol treated with hydrochloric acid in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride. One more important thing is that for all these reagents we have to write down on the arrow carries half mark in the board examination. Our HSC board examination, these reagents carries half mark. If you are not going to write this reagent, there is -1/2. So if the reaction is of only 1 mark, and though reactant and products are correct, but if you are not going to write this reagent, then you will get only half mark. Remember this thing. So reagents you have to remember very well. Okay, and you have to write in words also and in the reaction, that gives you good credit, means impression is good. So always you have to write, when alcohol react with HCl in presence of anhydrous zinc chloride, it gives alkyl chloride with H2O as a byproduct. This is our byproduct. So what is that? This ROH, this OH is replaced by Cl, so there is formation of alkyl chloride, and now this H and OH are going to react with each other and there is formation of H2O. HOH going to react, there is formation of H2O. While this is again there are three types of the reaction in between from alcohols reacting with hydrochloric acid. If it is primary and secondary, then we have to use anhydrous zinc chloride with this HCl. But if it is a tertiary alcohol, if this alkyl group is the tertiary group, then only concentrated hydrochloric acid can give use alkyl halide. Okay, that is alkyl chloride. There is no necessary of using anhydrous zinc chloride. So based upon which type of alcohol is present, you have to use reagent. For primary and secondary alcohol, we have to use anhydrous zinc chloride. For tertiary, only concentrated hydrochloric acid is sufficient. Okay, then next one is hydrobromic acid. Here when alcohol on boiling, this is important word, here it is not necessary to give any heat. This is highly reactive, hydrochloric acid is highly reactive, so we don't need here heat. But now here in to preparing alkyl bromide, we have to boil with HBr, that is 48%. 48% means what? In 48% remaining part is of water. Okay, in presence of sodium bromide and H2SO4, it forms alkyl bromide with water. So this is a reagent, sodium bromide in presence of H2SO4. HBr is going to react with ROH. This OH group is replaced by bromine. So here it is formation of alkyl bromide and the byproduct is H2O. So this is our alkyl bromide. Okay, so for example, you can take anything. ethyl alcohol or propyl alcohol or methyl alcohol, anything, and you can get methyl bromide, ethyl bromide or propyl bromide, okay, or bromopropane, bromoethane or bromomethane, okay, that is clear. Then next one is the hydroiodic acid. What do you mean by hydroiodic acid? HR is hydroiodic acid. Alcohols treated with sodium or potassium iodide, sodium iodide or potassium iodide in presence of 95% phosphoric acid. This is very concentrated acid. When we are saying 95%, means this is a concentrated phosphoric acid. The formula is H3PO4. For phosphoric acid, formula is H3PO4. Only 5% water, 95% H3PO4, means this is very concentrated acid. And then OH is replaced by I, so there is formation of alkyl iodide, byproduct is H2O. Here it is 95% phosphoric acid gives good yield of alkyl iodide. So this is very important, and such type of text question is asked in our book. So you have to remember this 95% phosphoric acid when we use, we get very good yield. Yield means what? The quantity of product, that is yield, is very good of this alkyl iodide, and that's why we use 95% phosphoric acid. Okay, now next, this is again very important, the reaction of alcohol with phosphorus trichloride. Phosphorus trichloride means what? With the phosphorus there are 3 chlorine. Depend upon the phosphorus valency, we can get phosphorus trichloride or we can have phosphorus pentachloride also. Valency of phosphorus is 3 or valency of phosphorus is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Phosphorus trichloride and this is phosphorus pentachloride. Okay. We can get again alkyl halides. We can get alkyl halides. Now what is the reaction? Reaction is alcohol treated with PX3 gives you 3 molecules of alcohol treated with PX3 gives you 3 molecules of alkyl halide and byproduct is H3PO3. This is known as hypophosphoric acid. This is known as hypophosphoric acid. You have to remember this thing very well. When you know the byproduct, then and then only you can balance the reaction. I am going to explain it in the next after the next reaction. So for example, here it is, we are taking 3 molecules of ethyl alcohol plus PCl3, that gives you 3 molecules of ethyl chloride plus hypophosphoric acid. So we have to write ethyl alcohol treated with phosphorus trichloride gives you ethyl chloride and byproduct is hypophosphoric acid. Okay. Now we will see reaction with phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus pentachloride. Okay. Now what is this? PCl5. Penta 5. How many chlorines? 5 chlorines. So this is pentachloride. P is phosphorus. So phosphorus pentachloride. When alcohol is reacted with PCl5, respectively, alkyl halides is produced. See, this is the alkyl halide. But now important thing is that byproduct is here POCl3. You have to remember, when alcohol treated with pentachloride or pentabromide or pentaiodide, product is POCl3 or POBr3 or POI3, and this is known as phosphorus, P for the phosphorus, O oxy, and then chlorine 3, so there is a phosphorus oxychloride. Then how to remember these two reactions? One more example, there is ethyl alcohol treated with PCl5, there is a formation of alkyl halide, byproduct is HCl and POCl3. How to remember these two reactions? Reactions, which two reactions? Reaction with PCl3 and reaction with PCl5. Okay, this is a simple trick I am going to show you. Okay, see now here how to balance the reaction with PCl3 and PCl5. Here it is C2H5, that is ethyl alcohol reacting with PCl3. Always you have to remember PCl3 reaction if is there, then byproduct is H3PO3. Means what? you have to remove from this reactant H3PO3 first. Okay, and to balance this reaction we need 3 molecules of ethyl alcohol. So what is that? This is first molecule, this is second molecule, this is third molecule. Now here this PCl3, P1Cl, second Cl, third Cl, PCl3. What we have to remove? What is the byproduct? You have to remember H3PO3. So what is that? This H3. Okay, then 1 phosphorus and then 3 oxygens. These 3 oxygens you have to remove. These 3 oxygens. If you are going to remove this, what is remaining? What is remaining? Remaining one is nothing but 3 ethyl and 3 chlorine. So the product is 3 ethyl chloride. This is our product. Are you getting this? How to remember? How to balance the reaction? First of all, you have to remember H3PO3 is the byproduct when you are treating ethyl alcohol with PCl3 or you are treating alcohol with PCl3, any alcohol. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. Then for the next, phosphorus pentachloride, this is our ethyl alcohol again, PCl5. So 5 chlorine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you have to remember byproduct is POCl3. Byproduct is POCl3. So what is you are going to remove from this? This phosphorus, then these 3 chlorine atoms and 1 oxygen. You remove this. So we removed here POCl3. What is remaining? Remaining in one is C2H5, 1H and 2 chlorine atoms. So what is going to form? First of all, C2H5Cl. This C2H5, this Cl. There is formation of C2H5Cl. Now what is remaining? Remaining one is 1 hydrogen and 1 chlorine, and so byproduct is HCl. Are you getting this thing? So you have to know how to balance the reaction by remembering these some tricks. These are the tricks. You have to know H3PO3 is the byproduct. You have to know POCl3, phosphorus oxychloride, is the byproduct, and then you can balance very easily this reaction. Okay, this is all for PCl3 and PCl5. Next one is reaction with thionyl chloride. The name for this compound is thionyl chloride. When there is a sulfur and oxygen, there is sulfur and oxygen. Okay, so this is known as thionyl chloride. This is also known as sulfonyl chloride. Remember this thing. Thionyl chloride is also called as sulfonyl chloride. Now what is the explanation? Explanation is when alcohols treated with SOCl2, it gives alkyl halide with byproducts are the gas is octane. You should write here gases is octane. Okay, here it is sulfur dioxide is gas as well as hydrochloric acid is in the form of gas. Okay, so SO2 is removed as well as HCl is removed, means this is expelled. So we are writing here up above arrow like this. Okay, which is directing above, directing up, that is SO2 and HCl. It is in the form of gases are coming out and we are getting here alkyl chloride. So what is that? SOCl2. Again this is a very simple reaction. See, not complicated as PCl3 and PCl5. Here again we have to remember SO2 gas is formed. So this is easy to balance the reaction. Okay, here we are providing heat, and now this S, this oxygen and 1 oxygen from the alcohol, 1 oxygen from the alcohol, SO and oxygen. So there is formation of SO2. Okay, now what is remaining? Remaining are here 2 chlorine and 1 hydrogen and 1 R. So 1 chlorine, this 1 chlorine goes to R. So there is formation of RCl. Another chlorine is going to form HCl bond and there is HCl gas. So this is again the byproduct. So first product is our alkyl chloride, byproduct is SO2, sulfur dioxide gas, and hydrochloric acid gas. So for example, ethyl alcohol treated with SOCl2, then there is formation of C2H5Cl, SO2, HCl. So ethyl alcohol, thionyl chloride, product is ethyl alcohol, sulfur dioxide, and hydrochloric acid gas. Okay, hydrochloric HCl is in the form of the gas. Okay, so alcohol treated with PCl3, PCl5 and SOCl2. SOCl2. Okay, this is one of the part of the preparation of alkyl halides. Now next one is from hydrocarbons. From hydrocarbons. We know that there are two types of hydrocarbons, saturated as well as unsaturated, and these things we studied in 11th standard also. Saturated hydrocarbon is nothing but just like our methane is reacting with chlorine, it gives you CH3Cl plus HCl. This is a continuous reaction. So again this CH3Cl is going to react with Cl2, there is formation of dichloride, then trichloride, then tetrachloride. So this is the formation of alkyl halides from saturated hydrocarbon. For unsaturated hydrocarbon, this is also we studied in chapter alkene, but now we have to revise it again. In chapter alkene, we studied Markovnikov rules. Do you remember that? What is Markovnikov rule? When an unsymmetrical reagent adds to an unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part of the reagent gets attached to unsaturated carbon atom which carries lesser number of hydrogen atoms. What is that? When an unsymmetrical reagent adds to an unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part of the reagent gets attached to unsaturated carbon. Important is that unsaturated carbon atom which carries lesser number of hydrogen atoms. So for example, this is our unsaturated hydrocarbon. Okay, this is our unsaturated hydrocarbon. So CH3, C double bond, CH2, CH3. Okay, which now across this double bond, which carbon carries less number of hydrogen atoms? This one or this one? Then this is the carbon which carries less number of hydrogen atoms. There are no hydrogen atoms. This is only single carbon. While across this double bond, this carbon carries two hydrogens. So HBr, unsymmetrical reagent. This is unsymmetrical reagent. Means what? This is plus, this is minus. If it is Br, then this is symmetrical reagent. If it is HH, then this is symmetrical reagent. But when there is H and Br, so this is unsymmetrical reagent. Then negative part. Which is the negative part? Br minus is the negative part. Goes to which carbon atom? Which contain less number of hydrogen atoms. So Br is going to attach to this carbon, and this is the major product 80%, and the another probability is also there, but it is just 20%. Okay, and now here bromine is going to attach to this carbon, and this is known as isobutyl bromide, while this is known as tertiary butyl bromide. Why tertiary? This carbon is our tertiary carbon, so this is tertiary butyl bromide, while this group is our isobutyl group. So this is isobutyl bromide. And what is this? This is isobutene. This is isobutene. Common name is isobutene. Okay, we had seen this thing before. This is isobutene, gives you tertiary butyl bromide as well as isobutyl bromide, but this product is the major product and this product is the minor product. This is according to Markovnikov's rule. And we studied one more thing. Do you remember that? We studied peroxide effect. What is that peroxide effect? Peroxide effect is that effect where we use this addition of HBr in presence of peroxide, and exactly reverse product we get. Okay, organic peroxides we use and exactly reverse means what? The In absence of peroxide, this is major, while in presence of peroxide, this is minor, and this is major. This is the exactly reverse of Markovnikov's rule, and so peroxide effect is also known as anti-Markovnikov's rule. Okay, anti-Markovnikov's rule or peroxide effect, or this is also known as Kharash effect. Okay, next reaction method of preparation is a naming reaction, and this is known as Finkelstein reaction. This is known as Finkelstein reaction. So here alkyl iodides are prepared by treating alkyl chlorides or bromides with sodium iodide. This is very important. You have to remember it is treated with sodium iodide in presence of methanol or acetone. That's why here oblique sign is there. Acetone or methanol. Any reagent you can use, acetone or either methanol. And now what is going to happen? Very interesting thing is that this halide is replaced by another halide. Okay, so chlorine is replaced by iodine, and so from alkyl chloride we get alkyl iodide, and byproduct is whatever the remaining sodium reacting with chlorine, there is a formation of NaCl, our sodium chloride salt. Okay, so for example, we can take here C2H5Cl reacting with sodium iodide in presence of acetone or methanol gives you C2H5I, that is ethyl iodide plus NaCl, and this is known as halogen exchange. What is the basic thing? That is halogen exchange. Okay, so chlorine is replaced by iodine, means chlorine is exchanged by iodine, so this is halogen exchange. Next reaction is Schwarz reaction. This is again the name of the scientist. Naming reactions means the reaction named after scientists who found out this method, who research on this and who get these products. So those are the Finkelstein is the name of the scientist, as well as Schwarz is the name of the scientist. Now here again, this is again halogen exchange reaction. This is the exchange with iodine. This is the exchange, by exchange we get the iodide product. Here by exchange we get fluoride product. Actually getting fluoride product is very difficult in basic reactions which we studied before, as we know that HF or all these things are explosive, it will give us explosive reactions, and so we cannot carry such type of reactions in the laboratory or in any plant. But when we are using such type of reagents, that is, this is our silver fluoride or mercury fluoride, and so many other fluorides are given in the textbook, then we can easily get fluoride product, and that's why this reaction is very important, to easily get alkyl fluorides, You can use any AgF, Ag2F2 or AsF2 or Sb2F2, any you can use, and there is an exchange of chlorine and fluorine, and we easily get alkyl fluorides, which is very difficult in other methods. But here in a Schwarz reaction, the name of the scientist is Schwarz, he makes it very easy and prepared RF. Okay, so for example, again you can take any alkyl group. Our very likely group is the ethyl group, so this is C2H5Cl reacting with silver fluoride gives you ethyl fluoride, and byproduct is AgCl, silver chloride. Ethyl chloride reacting AgF gives you ethyl fluoride, AgCl. Importance of this reaction is to get fluoride. Okay, you have to go through the textbook and the exercise questions you can solve. So you will understand which type of questions they can ask on such topic. This is the Finkelstein reaction. This is the Schwarz reaction. In the next lecture, we are going to see substitution reaction. Under that substitution reaction, we are going to see electrophilic reaction first, then some part of the optical activity, and then we will go to the nucleophilic reaction. Electrophilic reaction, then optical activity, of that is one of the topic, and then the nucleophilic reaction. Now here just I am going to introduce you what is the electrophilic. These electrophilic reagents are always electron deficient. When they are electron deficient means they are going to carry positive charge. They are going to carry positive charge like this. Okay. Then as they are positively charged means they are having affection towards electron. They are having some feelings towards electron, means they are electron loving, and their octet is incomplete, that's why they are positive. If it is octet is complete, then there is no charge. Okay, but this octet is incomplete, then this is the positive charge. When the octet is complete, they carry negative charge. Okay, incomplete means there is a deficiency, that's why they are carrying positive charge. While nucleophilic reagents, these are the electron rich species, means again they are having negative charge like this, OH, Cn minus, Cl minus, Br minus. As they are having negative charge, they are having affection towards the positive charge. Positive charge is nothing but the nucleus. So we are saying this is nucleus loving or nucleophilic. They are having some feelings about nucleus. So this is nucleus loving, and their octet is complete. Okay, this is the basic information about electrophilic substitution reactions and nucleophilic substitution reactions. In the next lecture, we are going to see electrophilic substitution reactions.